Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Modern Firm, where we speak with leaders in the finance and accounting world about how they're building their firms. Today's guest is someone who's carved out a powerful niche, serving the med spa and beauty industry with financial clarity. Katrina Watkins is the founder of Empower to Profit, a firm that's helping owners and managers grow cash flow without breaking the bank. Katrina, it is great to have you here today.
Yeah, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Anytime, anytime. So, Katrina, let's kick off with your journey. What inspired you to kind of get into this space from bookkeeping to focus in on med spas in the beauty industry?
Yeah, absolutely. So, to cut a very long story short, give you a high level, my story started probably like most others, was in the corporate world, 9 to 5, had the college degree, doing all the things that we think we should have been doing. And then life changed and started a family, had 3 kiddos, and my husband got moved. We had to move states for his career. So I said goodbye to the corporate world and hello to mom world 100% of the time. And about a couple months into that journey, I decided it is a true calling to be a full-time stay-at-home mom. And I just missed working and I missed using my brain and interacting with other adult humans. So I decided to start my own gig and build it from the ground up so I could keep family a priority, but still doing things that I love, helping others, and being part of the adult world. So from there, the business started out just very baby bookkeeping business, but what I didn't know at the time was that it was perfectly aligning with what was happening in the background of COVID. So when I started the business, everything was virtual and online. So it could fit our family needs because I had to do it in between nap times and at bedtime. So that timing worked out perfectly in hindsight because as the business grew, COVID came into the picture. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, of course, COVID was very devastating, but I think it really did play a positive factor in the business because business owners became more comfortable in the virtual world and meeting on Zoom and things like that. So the business continued to grow. And then as the kids got older and got started into school, the business just kept expanding. And then in 2022, me and my business partner aligned and she was doing her own thing while I was doing my own thing. And that's where Empowered to Profit came from. We decided to combine our books and create Empowered to Profit. And so along that journey, I was working with business owners who didn't really like the compliance side of it. Bookkeeping is boring. I get that and I agree. But the real help came when they needed help understanding their numbers and where's the money going? Why isn't it growing? I have a lot of money coming in, but end of the month, nothing is there. What's the problem? So that's really where the strategy aspect came in. I wanted business owners to be comfortable asking the questions. And the goal is to break that down into non-accountant jargon in real life terms so they could apply it in their business. So while we do all the compliance issues, we make sure all the tax forms are filed and all the boring things. But the magic is really in helping the business owners understand the numbers. And so that's really what set us apart, which I believe really helped with the growth because business owners don't really care about bookkeeping. They want to know why the numbers aren't working or how they're working or what they can do differently to grow their businesses.
Absolutely, I would agree with you. Thank you for sharing that. And I would agree that, we've been seeing a shift in the last few years that it's becoming more advisory than just straight bookkeeping. Like people, like you said, don't really care if they don't know what the numbers mean, like how are they supposed to understand it. So I agree with you that that's why you found that success is because you're taking the approach of actually helping the businesses you're working with understand what's maybe not working and how to fix that. And so tying into my next question is one of the things that you talk about is, helping clients grow without sacrificing quality or breaking the bank. And so what does that actually look like in practice?
Yeah, so without breaking the bank, a lot of times that leads us to the question of budgeting and strategies. And I think it's having the conversations of getting the business owner to understand and agree that budgeting isn't about confining or restricting. Budgeting actually gives them the freedom to do what they want. So when we budget, we're basically just assigning every dollar a name or a home or a job to do. And so once we do build out the budget and assign percentage allocations of where the dollars should go, that actually provides the freedom for them to either purchase equipment, pay themselves more, hire a team, do the things that they want to do in their business instead of just telling them, no, you can't buy the coffee. Because really, the coffee isn't breaking the bank, right? It's about growing the revenue and then giving each dollar a job. So I think once we get past that hurdle with business owners, and that budgeting is freedom, not shackles, then that's where we really see the growth with our clients.
Totally, totally. And so on that note then, what are some of the biggest financial pain points, or not even just financial, that you see within the med spa industry that business owners are dealing with?
Yeah, so med spa owners are a big passion of ours, and it came across very holistically. We just naturally were acquiring female and strong women business owners that felt safe in our circle, that felt safe, talking to us and opening up a little bit. So that niche was really fun for us to get involved with, not only because we're working with other strong women, but because there's a real opportunity for growth there. Just in the niche alone, they're growing exponentially. It's become a bigger and bigger industry. So that's aligned well with us with what we're trying to do with our growth. But in terms of challenges, one of the biggest conversations that we like to have is not to confuse the business owner, that they're not confusing being busy with being profitable, that those are two very different things and they don't have to correlate with each other. You can be very profitable without burning out every single day. So while they might think that they're doing all the things correctly, my calendar is full, but my bank account is empty, that's a really, really insightful, helpful conversation that maybe they've never had before. Probably the second aspect, especially in that niche, is when it comes to investing in new equipment and new machines. Salespeople tend to be really, really good at their job and make new equipment and new machines seem really cool, really shiny. The answer to all of their problems in terms of generating new revenue, new clients walking through the door. So we're able to be that third party that's kind of out of the business ownership role that they're in. And we're able to act like a CFO with them with like low key therapist vibes because we get it. We also own a small business and we also are making a living off our business. So we help them use the equipment conversations or an increased rent conversation translate to their goal in numbers to help them build a plan like, super, love the equipment, sounds amazing. Let's break it down. How many clients have to use that equipment every month in order just for you to break even, let alone make a profit? So it's about hearing the excitement that maybe the business owner has about a decision or something that costs money and helping them utilize that to make a decision that makes sense in terms of profit.
Absolutely, yeah, I would agree with you there. Actually, kind of reminds me of a story of my uncle used to own a restaurant back in the day, and he was struggling to get clients and whatnot and customers, and so he thought that just buying all new equipment and that would somehow bring in more customers, and the business ended up crippling. He didn't have a
Mm.
bookkeeper and accountant to kind of tell him like, hey, that's not really going to do much. You need to focus on the foundation, right, before you can just go out and spend money thinking that's gonna fix anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So where does budgeting and pricing strategy, I know that's a big part of what you do. So
Mhm.
where do you usually start with clients when it comes to kind of dialing those in?
Yeah, so like you just said, it's all boils down to the foundation. And so the journey usually starts pretty boring, but it's imperative to the growth. So it comes down to messy bookkeeping. And so we have to know where we're starting. So a lot of times, unfortunately, clients come to us when things are already a mess. So we have to spend some time cleaning up the numbers, getting a clean profit and loss report or a clean balance sheet, getting all the equipment on the balance sheet, understanding the debt of the business. Once we have that kind of basis, the good foundation, the starting ground, that's where we then say, okay, so let's talk about goals. I love that you want to be $1 billion business or $1 billion company, but let's try and get to seven figures first. So we talk about the goal, talk about the realistic things that we can make that happen this year, and then we help connect the pathways. So we give them the stepping stones or the building blocks to make that a reality.
But that's very insightful. I think a lot of people need to hear that and kind of realize that we need to partner with an expert who will help us. And I feel like I say this time and time again that that's the biggest downfall of every small business. You know, they think that they could do it all themselves and that they don't need to bring in external help and whatever the case may be. But it's really investing in your business when you come to a professional and have them go through everything and kind of help you out there. So that kind of touches into the next topic of technology. There's a
Mhm.
bunch of new technology in 2025, automation, different platforms and whatnot. Are you seeing that impact the way you serve your clients or in the industry as a whole, or what are you seeing there?
Well, sure. I mean, same as any industry. If you're not keeping up with the times and staying current, you're probably going to die off and fade into the background and not going to be able to keep up. So we are very forward focusing on growth. We have big goals here in the agency. So we welcome technology. We welcome automation. Like I just said, busy doesn't always equal profit, so you don't have to be filling your time anymore. We don't use any paper unless there's a tax law compliance that requires us to print and mail a form for a client. But everything we do is online. Automation has turned bookkeeping from every single manual test data entry, like very boring, more into a strategic move. So while I'm sure everybody is aware of QuickBooks, we also utilize other softwares like Gusto for payroll, and that's our main provider for payroll. So every client that comes in that has a payroll, we push them towards Gusto. So then the whole team is familiar with Gusto. We have, somebody that we communicate on their team, so it helps streamline everything. And then in terms of like background, we use software in terms of communication. Like we're using Slack for our internal communication. We use ClickUp to keep everybody on the same page in terms of everybody's tasks that are happening in the background so we can keep client work moving forward. So while the magic isn't necessarily in the software, you have to utilize the software and you have to utilize it appropriately, but everything gets input into the software, then it gives you that clean data that you can interpret to keep everything moving forward. And we are utilizers of Chat GPT. I think if you're not using that as a business owner in this day and age, you're really missing out and you are going to fall behind. So we gladly welcome Chat GPT. It has amazing tools. So yeah, we're very open to it. And really our firm has gotten to the level it's gotten because of social media. We're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we have a Facebook group, we're sending out email newsletters every week. So we're very big users of software, very big users of automation and what's happening in current times. Not afraid of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's a huge piece that a lot of firm owners are missing, that you
Mhm.
have two ends of the spectrum, right? Some people that rely on automation and AI and tools to the 10th degree, and then they have no substance to what they're doing. And then you have people who are just completely trying to deny it, and eventually they're going to have to adopt it. So, like you said, it's more as a tool to kind of guide you through the business and help you out, not just one size fits all. So,
Mhm.
regarding
Yeah.
strategy, would you, I know you run a business yourself, so how do you balance, the behind the scenes operations while serving clients and still keeping everything top level?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a tricky balance that I think every business owner tries to figure out. And there's not a perfect template. It's not a one size fits all. We're all trying to figure it out. We all have different family situations and different things happening in our lives and all of that. So for me personally, there is a real learning curve there, especially, for my experience and my journey. I had three kiddos at home in the very beginning. So that changed a lot of working availability and times like that. Then, as the business grew and I surrounded myself with other people in similar situations and learning from them, I understood that they're not all doing it at home and they're not all doing everything in the business either. It's okay to get help, it's okay to hire a team. Not every meeting has to be your face on the screen. Not every little piece of clothing that your kiddo wears has to be folded by your hands. So to be honest, I have hired help in the house and we have a team behind the scenes. So it takes a machine. It is not just me by any chance. Cheryl and I co-own the business together, and we're both very forward facing in that. And we're a team of six. And then I also have a team for home. And so I have a great partner who he jumps in and contributes. And then I also have somebody that comes and picks up the house. And I have somebody who helps with the laundry. And I have our groceries delivered. So that is a message that I think needs to be yelled from the rooftops, especially in the female owner industry world, that we don't have to do it all. Men or women have to do it all, don't have to do it all, that we can ask for help and utilize the help. And if you're not sure how to get help, ask other business owners. Because if you're trying to do it all, you're going to burn out. You're going to regret it. The business is probably going to slide, or your family's going to slide. You can't keep everything up in the air doing it all.
100%. I agree with you there, touching on like the woman in business thing as well. That's huge because I have an aunt who started her own business and she had three kids and she would try to, make meals 3 times a day while running a business, while taking care of the
Yeah.
kids. And I saw her like the stress on her mind. It was just absolutely insane. And so the art of delegation, right? Like asking
Hmm.
for help, like you said, is absolutely huge. So for any med spa or beauty business owners that are listening and maybe are unsure about their numbers, what would be the one piece of advice that you would give them?
It's okay to not know, and it's okay to be at a starting point. Don't beat yourself up because of that. Embrace it. Say, I don't know, say, I don't even know where to start. I'm overwhelmed. Watch the YouTube videos. Surround yourself with other business owners, because I've noticed once you surround yourself with other business owners, nothing against the 9 to 5, 9 to 5s are great, but other business owners are different creatures. And almost everybody has the same kind of story of not knowing. I don't know how people in our industry do what they do. If I were to try and give you Botox right now, I would jack you up, like it would not go well. So it's not fair to expect business owners who are in a different niche to be professional accountants. And so I think just creating the safety for the business owners to be like, yeah, I don't know. And us to be like, that's cool. You don't have to know. I got you. I'll take care of it. And then take care of it for them and keep them in the know. And that's what creates the strong relationship that's going to help client retention and help business owners not to have to carry that weight and know that's being taken care of by a team.
Absolutely. I mean, that's tying into what we said before. It's just the art of asking for help and saying, I don't
Hmm.
know, is huge.
Yeah.
Like we said before, the biggest struggle that people face is they can't just give up that ego hit that, oh, I don't know everything. I need to ask for help. So absolutely. And I see why your business has grown the way it is. I mean, you're helping people genuinely who need help. And so that's amazing there. So looking ahead, where do you plan to take the business 5, 8 years down the line? And what do you see for that?
Yeah, I mean, step one, this year we're shooting for a 7-figure year. So there's a lot of 7-figure firms, which we are as well, but that's a cumulative, it's all the years. So we're just to be transparent, we want a 7-figure year, and we're on our way. And so, I mean, you put me 5 years down the road, the plan is to have multiple office and multiple locations in multiple states. So we are here to stay. We're here to grow. We're here to be a different sense of accounting agency and the expectations of what it is now. A lot of times people talk to their accountant once a year, doesn't really help them any. They don't like their accountant because they just tell them they owe 20 grand to the IRS and move along. And so we're here to partner, and we've had great success in that. And that's really, like you said in the beginning, business owners want to know. They want the partnership. They want to be involved. They don't want to click the buttons, but they want to be involved. And I think that's a healthy place for them to be. So yeah, we're here to stick around, here to grow.
Percent, and I have no doubt you're going to do that, especially because you are adopting. Like I said before, the biggest shift that we've been seeing, and I come from a line of accountants, and I see how things have evolved, is that people are sick of just the normal bookkeeping businesses that don't care, that just run your numbers, do your tax return, whatever the case may be, and then they're done with it. So every
Mhm.
firm who are positioning themselves as that advisor role, we've been seeing huge growth with them. So I have no doubt that you guys will continue to grow. Last question for you, Katrina, is looking ahead, where do you see the industry as a whole kind of evolving,
Mm.
whether it's finance or the beauty med spa industry? Just how do you see that entire thing growing?
Yeah, I mean, like we just touched on, people are looking for more the CFO level. They want advisement. They don't really care about the boring things. They want to know how to grow, how to get there. And so I think a lot of it is going to be more relationship, more facts that they can digest and implement. I know industry wise, there is a scare a couple years ago because there's all these AI firms and $20 a month we can do your bookkeeping and it will all be great. Well, those are slowly going under one by one by one because it's just not about the automation. You can have reports all day long. If you don't know what they don't mean anything. And so I don't think the industry is going anywhere. There's actually a need for accountants more than ever. So, any college kids out there wondering what industry to get in, accounting is super boring, but a great place to be, especially as a business owner. So, yeah, I think it's going to get more connected with business owners if that's the kind of accounting you're in. So, I also think accountants are going to have to learn how to have sociable conversations, and we're not going to be allowed to hide in our offices and not talk to anybody all year long. I think that it's going to become more of a sociable role where people want to have conversations and get to know you and work with you and feel like you're part of their team, not just a one time in a year file your tax return.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Like you said, who wants to, get your taxes done by an AI or bookkeeping, and then
Yeah.
who's going to trust that, first of all? And then second
Yep.
of all, who even wants that, right? So I absolutely agree with you there. So Katrina, I wanted to thank you for this conversation. Very fruitful conversation. I think the audience is going to get a lot from this one and walk away with a much clearer idea of how to manage your finances, and anyone in the beauty med spa industry would get some value from this. So where can people find you, if they want to connect or reach out for some business information?
Yeah, well, thanks again for having me. This has been great, super fun. But yeah, I mean, we're everywhere, so you can find us on YouTube, everything Empowered to Profit. So you can search Empowered to Profit on YouTube or on Instagram, Facebook. We have a Facebook group. If you are a small business owner, we just put tax tips and accounting tips in the group there. You can email, you can call. I don't know if you're going to have a little blurb of how to get a hold of us, but yeah, we're everywhere. Just on Google, Empowered to Profit, we will pop up, and that's the best way to get a hold of us.
Amazing. Anyone who's listening, you heard her, and please go check her out. We'll also drop all the links to your site and your business info and everything like that. Thank you, everyone, for listening to another episode, and thank you, Katrina, once again for being here with me.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you, guys.